Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Game of Thrones Winter's Coming. Today we are taking a look at a video I promised you that I would do, but have needed some extra time to think about to actually figure out what is going to be the most beneficial way to do it. And the video is basically going to be about the testing season of Glorious Battle, what I felt like about it, what happened, what doesn't work, and so on. As you can see, the actual first season, not testing season, but actual first season is slated to be in roughly 36 days, which is shorter than I expected it to be, mainly because the testing season was very expensive, and I think the general idea was that people hoped that we would get something back for it as it was a testing season, but we did not really get that much back for what we have used. So some people were kind of upset about that, but there's a lot of things that has to be tweaked and done, and I'm going into detail into what those kind of things will be. One of the things that we have still to see for Glorious Battle is the tokens or the chest that we gain from it. We have the approaching enemy, which we get from the token shop, but the token shop is also linked to the KVK shop. But Deep Beyond has also fragments or photo fragments, which means that at some point we'll have to get a chest for it, and I assume that chest will be available in the first season, or I hope so, so that you can actually get it, but we'll see that when the first season hits, I guess. Now let's take a look at three main points that I have regarding Glorious Battle, regarding the discussion at least. The first one is going to be about the dragons and dragon skills, which has a huge impact on the game mode in general and the fights. The second one is going to be the cost versus rewards, which I'm also going to go more in detail with. And then lastly is the pace. So dragons and dragon skills. Dragons have a lot of benefits, and one of the benefits is of course dragon skills, and there's especially certain dragon skills which gives an extreme amount of benefit or advantage over people that do not have any dragon skills that are of high cost basically. We mentioned the reinforcement skill in the earlier video, we're going to mention it again in this video. It adds a percentage of the extra soldiers to your army, which acts as a meat shield in battles, which both applies to PvP battles and NPC battles, which means that if you don't take any damage with NPC battles, one person can basically knock out the entire building by himself, which is not really the point of the game mode in my opinion. At max rank, the skill gives you a 60k extra meat shield that has to be broken through to actually do damage. Which basically means that if you're a weaker player, you don't even have to be weak. If the person that uses the reinforcement skill is super strong, and you might be a mid-tier player, and without the reinforcement skill you would still have chipped away something at him, but with the reinforcement skill he just knocks you over. Then of course there is a point in this game mode where we have to kind of figure out if the devs actually want us to work together, or if they just want to just have the waves stomp everything and then let the rest be meat shields basically to try and capture things. The second skill that I'm going to talk about is the reroute skill. This one is going to make it even more difficult, especially if you combine it with the first skill, because it basically takes a portion of your army away from the battle. And this means that because there's no real way to increase your army size aside from in-game buys or the refinement and building growth, then as a free-to-play player or a low spender, you have a really difficult time, because these two skills alone can basically make a 100k difference, and a 100k army difference is huge, and it also makes it that much more difficult to actually wound the whale, to actually start hitting away at a whale, because both troops that are getting basically removed from your army, and then also having to basically kill off phantom troops on the enemy side, So all in all, for me, I think dragon skills are extremely overpowered when it comes to certain things. But that's not only it, because dragons in general are actually pretty overpowered in my opinion. Because dragons have different levels, and if you are basically a fully grown dragon, be it a Shadow Moon dragon, or be it a Darkfire dragon, or a Frost dragon for that matter, there will be stats differences, but Frost dragons obviously have extra skills and so on that actually hurt you more. The Darkfire dragon is weaker than the Shadow Moon dragon, for example, at level 60. And newer players also kind of, let's say they might have spent and are not weak stats wise, but the dragons can't really follow along with the competition because it's more difficult to speed up the dragon growth, let's say like that. And that can basically result in a very skewered matchup where weaker players, because of their dragons being weaker and because of dragon skills and because of these additional things that are in the game, makes it impossible for weaker to low to mid tier spenders to actually hurt the higher spenders in this mode. And in my opinion, they should just remove dragons and dragon skills entirely, like they do for Siege of Winterfell, and that way we can both avoid that some people take huge army losses, and we can also avoid that players basically just solo everything, and then they would have to kind of rebalance the NPC system, but that would be needed either way, because right now NPCs are a nightmare to take down unless you have a rail. It's impossible to take them down basically. But I personally would say, if you want to balance out the mode even more or make it less unbalanced, remove the dragon skills from the mode entirely, and that way you can maybe start encouraging people to actually participate, because as it is right now, more and more low to mid tier spenders will just show up maybe 1 or 2 days and then they would won't touch the event the rest of the time. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. Now the next part, which is also a huge part, is the cost versus rewards. Because there was a lot of debate whether it's actually worth doing or not. Here you have a screen of my cost for one battle, and with that one battle I mean for basically 1 hour battle. And because of that, as you can see here, it's super expensive. It's really expensive, and that's like for one hour battle. And if this happens several times a day, 14 days straight, basically run out of speed ups and you run out of resources and everything like that. And not only that, we also have the rewards, and the rewards are split up into different kinds of wheels, so you can basically choose what kind of main reward you want to focus on. But on the other hand, it's a wheel still, so you can't really decide what you get from the wheel. You might actually end up getting something that's completely useless. For example, I believe the Darius wheel was 3 places you could get him, and then there were some reward hearts, some friendship chests and so on. And people that are pretty far into the game, they don't really need that much, like those kind of things, and that makes it much more difficult for them to actually get the actual thing or the actual reward they want. And the same applies to the other wheels for that matter. I believe Dragon Blessing had 4 places where you could get Dragon Blessing stones, but the amount varied a lot. And it's just, it's alright to have rewards in that are difficult to get, but for the amount that it costs, it's going to make, again, it's also going to be an issue for people that are not high spenders, because they can't keep up with the cost of heating troops, building troops, and basically speed up the process for everything. For rewards that are basically not guaranteed, they are randomized, and you also don't get that many spins to actually try and get these rewards. I believe I got a couple of spins over the event from ranking rewards and so on, so I maybe had 20-25 spins or something like that, maybe 30 spins in total, and probably 70% of the time I had the Dragon Blazing Wheel. 70% of the time I ended up on something that wasn't the Dragon Blazing Stones, which basically made this super costly event for me to actually get maybe 40-50 levels on my dragon in the Dragon Blazing. So that's something to keep in mind. I would probably say implement a system that either makes it less costly to have to heal and so on, or add in something that allows us to heal troops, or add in a timer, for example, that after your troops that you can use troops daily, and once you have used all your troops daily you can't use them anymore, or something like that. Like, make it interesting somehow, change things up. There are various ways you can do it, and the current way is just too expensive. People will end up not playing it much, and I think personally that the entire healing, building system, whatever, compared to rewards, has to be revamped. And I also expect that next time we'll get the fourth wheel where the chest will be for the last page, which will once again also be randomized. So again, take a look at the rewards and the cost and see what happens, how you can change it up so it becomes less stressful for the average player to actually participate in this mode. Now lastly, we're going to take a look at the pace. I personally would say speed up the pace by opening up the map early, but shorten the event time. 28 days is a long time, especially when the first 14 days is basically just sitting behind bubbled areas and take NPC stuff, and then you have 14 days of high battles, PvP and so on. As you can see the map here, like part of the map, you basically only have, when you are sitting at this area, you basically only have 5 castles open from the get-go, I believe it was. Then it opens up further to certain points, and then it opens up the further into the map and so on, which is fine. But right now you're basically just sitting there the first few days, gathering, trying to do something. You can't really do much, and having to switch around between your roles every 24 hours makes it really difficult to be flexible. So I would say speed up the pace of things, open up the map faster, maybe shorten the event instead of 28 days, or how long it was, I believe it was 28 days, shorten it down to 20 days, and make it so that we can switch roles maybe every 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, something like that. At least so that we are not locked to that one role the entire day before we can switch it again, because that's just making the event stale and makes it less, how to say it, it's making PvP also a lot more difficult, because people can basically declare on you, defend and so on, and makes it much more interactable having the choice of switching around your position more often, so you're not locked. And that also makes it possible for you, if you fight hard, that you can basically change your way, take some time to basically farm up, get your army back, and then participate again. But these are like some of the points I wanted to make around the event right now. I hope you liked the video. Like and comment if you want to, subscribe to the channel, it helps out of course. If you have any comments regarding this event, then of course add them to the video down below. I'm always interested in hearing what your comments are about it. If you're new to the channel and you want to play the game, the link is down in the description below, so is it for the music, for the Discord group and everything. And yeah, we currently have Siege of Winterfell going on, so I wish you all good luck with that. And I'm probably going to have a rant about that at some point as well, but that's not going to be in this video. But I wish you all good luck. We have GoTWiCChronicler soon as well, so have fun with the events, take care, bye bye.